What's going on, guys? It's Eric again, back with another video. The Detroit Lions beat the Kansas City Chiefs 24-23. I got a couple of opinions about this, so let's kind of get right into the video. Well, guys, kind of the first things I want to touch on is the quarterback position with Hendon Hooker and Nate Sudfeld. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. If not, I've hacked up names. If you guys kind of know my channel before then, I kind of hacked up names. But let's kind of get right into that. Hendon Hooker is the number 2 quarterback, or going to be the backup to Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff didn't play today. Nate Sudfeld was out there for the first half, and Hendon Hooker was out there for the second half. And it was a tale of two halves. It was night and day difference between what those two different personalities could have done. Nate Sudfeld, to me, makes the offense sputter. He really doesn't bring anything to the table for the Detroit Lions. He tried to make too many throws that were either batted away or ended up being an interception that kind of killed Lions' drives there, and you can't have that. It was short-lived up on top of that, and made the defense kind of be out there too long. The defense, again, got tired in the first half and gave up, I'm looking over here on my other screen, gave up 16 points. Well, in the second half, they were kind of a little bit better, but still kind of sputtered to give us 12 points there. And there was some good by Nate. Nate had a couple of good passes, and especially on that one drive where it took I think 4 or 5 plays to go for a touchdown. That was one of the good ones. Kind of got the Kansas City Chiefs kind of back on their heels, and boom, they nailed them, and they got for that long, I can't remember who had that touchdown run, but that 40 or 50 yard touchdown run for the receiving run for the touchdown. That was one of the very good drives by Sudfeld, but that was the only one during the preseason where I can kind of point to say, hey, that was a very good drive. I can't say that at any other point in time for Nate Sudfeld here. So I believe he is probably out, and a couple of the articles that I'm kind of reading over here are saying the same thing. He's probably going to be out too. Now, I'm no NFL analyst or anything like that. I'm just the guy watching TV right here on the other side of this wall on a television screen and kind of giving my own thoughts. But the offense of Hendon Hooker and Nate Sudfeld was night and day. You can tell Hooker is in command of that offense, and the offensive line, the receivers, they kind of build on that confidence too. His throws are much better. He has mobility. Hendon Hooker has mobility. And this is kind of his first real year of play here for the Detroit Lions. So they've had a year of kind of grooming him and getting him to kind of do what the Lions want, and it's kind of coming through here. It's a project for them, and then what they've done here is actually really, really good. There's not a real big. I don't think there's going to be a big drop off. God forbid if something happens to Jared Goff, but it's pretty good. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised if Hooker comes in. I think we're going to kind of be pleasantly surprised by what he does. Now, will he take us to the playoffs? That kind of remains to be seen if that happens. But based on what I've seen, I'm kind of liking what I've seen until he gets in there with the first strings and we get to see the real Hendon Hooker. Right now, we're only seeing him against backups, but he looks good against the backups from the Chiefs and from the New York Giants. He looked pretty good there, but until you get in with the number ones, guys, you guys know it's a whole different story. A couple of other kind of takeaways that I got here, too, was I think the defense kind of I don't want to say took a step back, but they weren't as crisp at times where I thought they needed to be crisp. Many third downs ended up kind of being a penalty against the Lions. You got to kind of clean those up. I think you'll all throughout the preseason you're going to get that, but it's kind of another thing that kind of reared its ugly head kind of last season. The defense kind of were a little bit too aggressive, I will put it that way, and ended up having penalties for offsides or jumping offsides, especially on that one third down where they were, I think, third and 9 or 10 or something like that, or maybe even back farther than that, and the one guy kind of just came right up unabated to the quarterback. Well, boom, there was extra 5 or 10 yards, and it was a manageable third down at that point, and they ended up getting a first down, and the Chiefs were able to sustain that drive, and I think ended up coming up into points. I think 3 points at that point. But you gotta eliminate those things, and I think Aaron Glenn will probably address that in the meeting tomorrow, or actually it would have been today because I watched the. I ended up watching it this morning, the Detroit Lions game this morning. So I'm sure that'll get addressed, and I'm sure they'll probably pound that into the heads of them. Like, we can't make these stupid mistakes, and if we do, we're not going to be a successful football team like we were last year. But I think Aaron Glenn and the coaching staff there will get that team up and running, and it'll be a well-oiled machine, like he said. Now he has his tools to be a man coverage team, and I'm hoping to see a lot of man coverage and hoping to see successful man coverage. I will put it that way. But that's got to get done first. The penalties have got to stop if the Detroit Lions are going to be a successful football team. And I'm kind of looking over here at an MSN site here. They talk about two kind of rookies over here, and I will admit I've seen both of those. I'm hoping I'm getting these names correct. It's Sion Vakai, I believe that's who it was, and goodness, who was the other one? They talk about Jack Bates, which Jack Bates kicked those field goals. I think he's going to end up being the kicker here, which we'll kind of get to him here in just a little bit. And the Williams kid, I can't remember what his last name was. It's not here in this article, or if it is, I'm just missing it here. But Sion had a pretty good kind of run. He had some last week against the New York Giants, and he had some this week against the Kansas City Chiefs here. I think he's done enough to get him a job here. Now he has to sustain that level. He'll probably end up being a backup and a special teams player. But when he's asked to come in and be a backup, he needs to take advantage of his opportunities, just like Williams will. He'll need to take advantage of his opportunities. Now, this isn't about JMO. It's about the other gentleman here, which I can't see in this MSN article. They talk about it here, but I'm not going to waste your time looking and scrolling at it. But those two, to me, were standouts for today. Actually, last night, and I say today, but because I watched it today, but last night of being the two that kind of stood out to me in this. When I read this, I'm like, oh yeah, those two guys. So I think those two have done enough to get a roster spot. The third and fourth wide receiver spots are kind of still up in the air, which we'll kind of get to that here in just a minute. In the MSN article, which I'll kind of put it down there in the description section, says one of the people here says, one of the things that sticks out to me is that Donovan Peoples-Jones ended up with just one reception on 4 targets after being out on the field for 33 offensive snaps. Now that to me says a confidence issue by the Detroit Lions, which I don't understand why that is. Donovan Peoples-Jones has been I've kind of thought one of the better receivers here. I thought he was a kind of a shoo-in for one of the wide receiver spots. He seems to be a veteran, and he knows what to do here. He's no dummy coming from Michigan. He's a big body, 6'2", I think about 200, maybe 210, and has very good hands here. I don't know if it was just Sudfeld just couldn't find him or didn't look his way, or even Hendon Hooker, with maybe being a rookie, just kind of went through his progressions too fast. I don't know that, but the article kind of makes it seem here that the coaching staff didn't really kind of involve Peoples-Jones all that much in the offense, even though he was kind of out on the field, or at least not many targets, which to me I find hard to believe, I guess is kind of what it is. Donovan Peoples-Jones to me has been one of the staples of a veteran NFL wide receiver. Now, is he the best wide receiver? No. But if you need someone that can catch footballs, he's the one to get it. And I don't understand why this article here seems to think that they don't think he's going to be the number 3 wideout, and I don't understand why. I'm not going to go through and read all this, but it kind of makes it kind of seem like the coaching staff isn't high on him. But if he doesn't get the throws, I mean, I really don't know what the man is supposed to do. So if Donovan Peoples-Jones gets cut, I think it's going to – I'm not going to say it's going to be a big blow to Detroit. I'm just going to be one of the ones that kind of is very surprised that Donovan Peoples-Jones didn't make the roster. I would have thought he would have actually really been a shoo-in for one of the wide receiver spots. And I think that's kind of wrap it up for this video here, guys. Again, I'm kind of surprised that Andy Reid didn't really have or didn't want a joint practice with the Detroit Lions. Now, maybe it could have been because of the fight, and he didn't want his team getting involved in that or anything like that, or maybe he just didn't want to. That's up to the discretion of the coaches to do. That's not up to the discretion of the NFL to kind of say, hey, you must have must have joint practices here. So, and it's not anything big or anything. I would just find it kind of odd at this point in time to have a team not say that they want to do that. But again, it's just up to Andy Reid and all that kind of sort of stuff. I was actually very impressed with the defenses. Again, impressed with the defense. The offenses kind of seemed to have came around. They kind of still sputtered with Nate Sudfeld there, and I just don't think he's going to be able to get the. I don't think he's going to be on the team. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'm actually quite surprised he didn't have any, didn't have more balls thrown his way. Because he, like I said, if he doesn't make the team, I'm going to be, I'm not going to be like surprised, like wide-eyed surprised. I'm going to be like, I think that more or less, I think it's a missed opportunity by Detroit not having him on the team. I think he's a reliable receiver when he is put in situations where he can catch the ball. That's more or less what it was. There was a couple throws there where the ball wasn't catchable, guys. It really wasn't. So let me know what you guys think in this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Give it a thumbs down if you do not. Also, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you guys get more videos just like this one. All right, guys. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope to see you guys again soon. Deuces. Take care, guys.